We've seen in the last 12 to 18 months quite a lot of dynamism in the sector, in particular in Saudi Arabia, where KA came out with a white paper that really explained how the solar market would be developed in Saudi Arabia. And DEWA here in Dubai actually awarded a 13 megawatt power plant project to us, which we're in the process of completing by early October. And in addition, there are markets such as Morocco and Jordan that have progressed quite well in terms of rolling out their renewable energy projects and their solar power plants effectively. So we're pretty bullish on the market now. We see that things are developing. There's still a lot to do, but progress has been good. The MENA region obviously has that fantastic resource, which is sun, which is abundant. So it's a natural place for solar energy. It's obviously also the natural place for the oil industry and for the energy industry generally. So in terms of its global positioning, right now the eyes of the world are on the MENA region in terms of development of solar energy. A lot of leading companies are here, obviously including ourselves, making big investments. And we believe that MENA will be one of the leading regions, if not the leading region, for solar energy in the future. So I mentioned Saudi Arabia earlier. I think Saudi Arabia is obviously the largest market in the region and a natural solar market. But the way that we look at the whole region actually is by differentiating between net energy exporters and net energy importers. So Saudi Arabia is obviously the largest example of the energy exporter alongside the UAE, for example. For countries such as Saudi Arabia or the UAE, the opportunity really is to displace fuel used for electricity production that's often subsidized today and turn it into higher value exports effectively. Plus, of course, to add to its electricity generation fleet in view of growing electricity consumption. For net energy importers, such as Jordan, Morocco, also Egypt, and a number of other countries in the region, the opportunity of solar is really to harness the power of a naturally available local resource for electricity production, which both helps in terms of hedging the future cost of electricity, but also helps in terms of energy security as you're effectively dealing with a naturally available and locally available fuel resource. I think the vision of the leaders in the Middle East is certainly pointing in that direction, and we firmly believe that the opportunity is there for the Middle East to become a leader, and if not the leader in the industry. I think what we now need to do is go from white paper to power plant effectively and roll out the programs and make sure that they're implemented so that they lead to, one, of course, industry creation, and with that, job creation and value creation for the region. So first of all, I think in the solar PV sector, which we're obviously a leading player in, a lot has been done in terms of cost reduction over the last years. First, solar alone, since 2005, so over the last 8 years, we have reduced costs just of the module by 60%. And we see over the next 4 years to 2017, those costs drop further by at least 30% to levels where solar electricity is going to become very affordable just on the basis of cost reduction alone. In addition to that, there are new technologies that can potentially come on the market, but what we really see is that applications will be driving a lot of that adoption. So efficiency will also mean that when it comes to segments such as desalination, hybrid systems, more and more applications are developed and those markets are opened, which will really drive the adoption of technology, and the adoption of technology typically drives a better, effectively a lower cost of electricity production. So in terms of the economy, it's really about industry creation and about hedging electricity prices and driving cost of electricity further down over time by using a resource that is effectively free. So the sun is a free fuel, if you want, And it's really about industry creation to drive the technology to a point where you can harness that free fuel with cost-effective equipment. When it comes to energy supply, I think the opportunity really is around displacing fuel, displacing other energy inputs, if you want, with solar, and freeing them up for exports, for higher value exports effectively, or other uses in other industrial sort of applications. In addition to that, jobs really comes with industry creation. It's really about harnessing an abundant, available local resource and turning it into an industry that will then lead to value and job creation for the region. And it's a region obviously that needs a lot of jobs, and where solar should really be at the top of any economic policy in terms of industry creation. So I think the next 10 years is obviously a long time, especially in an industry that moves as quickly as the solar industry. If I look back 10 years, First Solar was just starting up production, and in the meantime we have produced several gigawatts of worth of modules effectively. But if you're looking ahead, projecting ahead 10 years, I think what we will see is, we will see first of all the growth of that industry, hopefully over the next 3 to 5 years, to a point where it's becoming an important player in the industry and in the economy as such of most of the countries in the region. And from there, really the development of applications such as desalination, such as hybrid, but of course also just utility scale power plants that can really drive different segments of the market, and that can really make a difference in terms of its percentage penetration in the electricity sector. So I think that's an important part. And hopefully in 10 years we will be standing here talking about a big industry that's got all the positives that are expected from it, and where companies like ours have grown significantly with local partners and have contributed significantly to the electricity production in the markets across the region.